Welcome to World Pick Radio, where we give you a rubber image of life, and we are everyday people. We're back on the Tyre Nichols case, right? Now, these 5 officers was part of a unit called the Scorpion Unit. Some say that unit used hard tactics in order to clear up crime, drugs, murders that was taking place in the Memphis, Tennessee area. Were these 5 officers turned into pit bulls that couldn't be controlled and that went too far, right? What is the difference, or what is the separation for police officers in bringing justice to an area that they consider to be deemed out of control? Right? How far will they go in their minds to where they're thinking they're bringing peace to a community, to where they have to beat a young man that weighs 150 pounds? It don't make no sense at all for that to happen, or for them to do that, right? Are we losing our way? Now, I had a conversation earlier with someone that was telling me that you can't put nothing past black people because black people do the same things that any other race does. And I was reminding him, but, there was a time when hearing black people commit certain acts of violence and crimes, especially among black people, was unheard of. But the time that we living in now, don't nothing surprise anyone. It's just like the passport bros, right? If you bring a certain mentality into a certain area, it will corrupt that area. It's the mentality. It's that slave master's mindset that black folk have adopted and allow it to rule or overcome who they are. Not all, I'm saying some. These were mad dogs, 5 of them, out to kill. Now, according to the police chief, they couldn't even see reasonable cause for why they stopped him in the first place. There was no reason, according to her statement, Miss C.J. Davis, the police chief, from video footage on why they stopped Tyre Nichols in the first place. Was it a hit that they put out on Tyre Nichols and they used the police force to do it? Were the police officers so arrogant to where they disregarded all the fact that they could be videoed, and they disregarded that and just went after Tyre Nichols and killed him? I mean, beat him till he died in the hospital. What mindset that these 5 officers have? Was it a gang mentality? Was it a group response that we're going to beat 150-pound man? Right? They said that they took a break. They said he was slumped over and the officer was yelling at him to get the F up. What happened to humanity? Right? Do everybody want to glorify and be a gangbanger, a drug dealer, a gangster, a mobster? Is that the new culture we're living in? And if it's so, I see why you have Americans moving to the different islands and moving out of America. But the thing that they don't want is that mentality, a certain mentality They don't want that to enter into other islands and other areas and corrupt it as it has corrupted the Americas. It's a mindset. I mean, it's in America's fabric. It goes all the way back to slavery. The type of mentality that can even do the type of brutality that was done in American slavery. We understand indentured servitude. That's different. We're talking about the raw brutality and killings that went on in this country during the slave period. And it hasn't stopped. Now it reached a point to where you have black officers acting as if they are overseers of a plantation and they're going to beat the young black male. We are living in some strange times. Now, there should be no, and there will not be, trust me, there will be nothing standing in the way for these 5 officers to be prosecuted. They're going to throw the book at them. All right? They will not be protected under the blue shield, the blue wall. Now, regardless of what you all say, there's a young lady running for mayor in Houston. Her name is Robin Williams. Her statement is, excuse me, bag the boys or the officers in blue, but not the bullies in blue. Letting you know that there's a clear distinction. You have officers that wear blue mixed in with bullies that wear blue. And they're going at it. Right? Because this is, how can 10 officers, right, on a scene, and that's what was stated, that there were 10 officers at that scene when Tyre Nichols was getting abused and beaten. And no one stepped in, rendered aid, got involved. How can that happen in a civilized nation with the technology we have? Everybody just stood around and watched these 5 beat this man. No humanity. Like it wasn't a life that was on the ground getting beat. Like it wasn't a human life. When did, what time period did where 5 black men can be calculated, cold, brutal murders? When did that happen? Right? Or what was they trying to prove? Were they trying to say that, hey, we just as equal as our white counterparts, and we'll beat a black man to death too because we're not black, we're blue? These are questions that has to be answered. It's ridiculous. I mean, even though I'm under the weather, I had to come out and say something about this case because nothing surprised me anymore. The 90s were I believe, was the last golden years. In the 90s, you had the Million Man March. You had black unity. You had people coming together. Hell, in Houston, we drew over 35,000 black men, right? And what happened? What happened between that period in time and today's time? You know, who is working behind the scenes to keep the people in disarray? And for what purpose? Because you can't purposely go out and hurt someone and don't think that you're also hurting yourself in the process. It don't work that way. I don't know. And the sad part about it is this guy was helpless. He was out there by himself, calling for his mother. Right? Out there by himself, calling for his mom. And you know, when a grown man is that afraid, he don't call for God. He calls for his mother right when he feel like his life is slipping away. Because he's hoping that that spirit, that connection, that bond between mother and child will reach out and grab her. And she can send her spirit to wherever he's at and get them off him. That's how desperate he was. Sick, mixed up society. 2023. I'm 2023. Y'all heard me say it on other podcasts. The year of the lunatic. The lunar year. Lunatic, the moon. It started with the dancing in Monterey, California. 72-year-old man goes in, kill 11 people. You know. Next day, Half Moon Bay, a 66-year-old man killed 7 people. 5 black officers killed Tyre Nichols. This is the time. The lunatics is coming out. Right? There's going to be a lot of things that you're not going to understand. Why did this happen? You're looking at it, I can't understand, you know. But it's here. We have to face it. We have to understand why it is happening, what caused this to happen, and how can we fix society. Right? January, we're just I'm not even finished with January. Look at all the mass shootings we had. It's the poison of the mentality of the foundation of this country, and we have to fix it. It's going to take everybody. Verbal Pick Radio. We're out.